first PC build. I have spent months trying to find the perfect parts. So first I have this Corsair Spec04. It comes with a glass side panel, and it comes with one 120mm red coloured fan, and there is also space for 1, 2, 3 and 4 extra fans. At the back there is space for one, so this is where the power supply will go, and this is where the IO shield will go from the motherboard. This is my power supply. It's the Corsair VS series 550 watt. It has an 80+ bronze certificate, and it comes with 3 years warranty, and it has a 120mm fan. What's special about this power supply is that the fan speed changes depending on how much cooling it needs. So this power supply comes with 1 times ATX 20+4 power pin. It comes with an 8-pin socket also for the motherboard, and this 4+2 pin is used for graphic cards which needs extra power, and SATA cable which is used for these hard drives, and there's a Molex cable for some case fans, and there is another SATA, maybe one's for hard drive and one's for SSD. So my motherboard is the MSI Z370 Pro. It supports the Intel chipset Z370, and it also supports Intel Optane memory. So the top PCIe slot has steel plated protection, and it can support more than one graphic card, but only for AMD Crossfire, not for the GeForce. And it also comes with an audio boost because the PCB is isolated somewhere, and it supports DDR4 boost, which will increase the speed of your RAM, and it comes with high quality components, and it comes with one M.2 socket, which this motherboard has technology which will increase it very quickly. And it comes with 6 USB ports. 4 of them are USB 3.0 and 2 USB 2.0. It comes with 6 audio and microphone jacks. It comes with 1 Ethernet, 1 display port and 1 DVI and VGA port. But it does not come with a HDMI. So this is my graphic card, the Asus Zephyrus Advanced Edition. It's a GeForce GTX 1050 Ti. It comes with a metal backplate to protect its components, and also it has a HDMI, DVI and display port. And it comes with this thing called WT Fast, which is supposed to increase your internet stability and your game ping. So for the CPU, I chose this Intel i3 8th generation, which has an LGA 1151 socket, so it's compatible with the motherboard, and it also comes with 4 cores, unlike the other i3s, because the rest has 2 cores, and it comes with Intel Smart Cache technology, supports Intel Optane technology. Memory technology, supports 2-channel DDR4, and it has Intel UHD graphics 630, so it has 630 megahertz integrated graphics. This is my memory. I chose this Corsair Vengeance LPX. It has 2 times 4 gigabytes. And it's also 2,400 megahertz, I think that's what it's called. Speed, and it's also DDR4. So this is my hard drive. I chose the Toshiba 72,000 RPM disc, but it's nothing special.
How much memory it got? 1 terabyte.
Yeah, and also this Toshiba disc is 1 terabyte disc. So I've got 2 RGB LED strips and 1 extra case fan which has RGB on. And I also got an anti-static wristband to protect some of my components from static damage, and two screwdrivers, one with a longer neck and one with a shorter one. So looking inside the case, we got this removable drive cage which has 3 places where you can store a hard drive, but actually 4, because you can put one in here. So up here we got a place where you can put in the SSDs, so you can like sort of display it. And these are the front panel connectors, which you will need to connect to your motherboard. And there is a 120mm red fan which comes from the front. So first thing, I will need the power supply. This is we will have to put it in here and kind of like slide it in here, and then we need some of these screws which came with the power supply. So 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so now I will tighten the power supply to the case. So when tightening electronic items, you kind of have to do it in a cross section. So I'll tighten this one and this one. So now I'll tighten this one instead of this one, because it will help the power supply to, or any electrical devices, to be aligned. If that's tight. And it also doesn't have to be too tight. So this power supply, I have placed it so that the fan is facing down, because there is a dust filter, or like a hole down, so the fan has like more ventilation. If your case like does not have a hole down here or any kind of mesh, then you should like put the fan facing up so it will get. Okay, so now I'm going to put in the CPU onto the CPU socket. So basically there's like kind of like a small triangle here, which is like not on any of the other sides, and there's this small round thing which is not on any other side. So the triangle should like kind of like place it really carefully because it's really delicate. Yeah, and it shouldn't move like this. So next, take the arm and kind of like put this on. Yep, like this. That was it. Okay, so now I've just realised when you're pushing down the arm, you should like push it like really hard so this cap like kind of comes off. So then you can like put on the stock cooler, which I have over here. So first we have to remove this so we can actually get the stock cooler out. Somehow like get it out. And you should not touch this because it has pre-applied thermal paste on here, which if you remove, then it won't cool the CPU properly. So there are small notches here, and you should like put it in a way that your wire kind of, it's like the furthest away like this, so you have to like kind of curl it around so it will like reach here. So something like this should do. And then you put this on here so it doesn't move into those small holes. And you have to kind of like push this in, like, yeah. Some. Yep, that's in. And then, so now after you have clipped in the CPU cooler, you should like kind of take up this wire, which from a narrow space. Okay, and then you should unplug it from the socket, like things. Just very tight. And then you have to put it into this 4-pin socket. So it's like this small notch here, and there's a notch like missing here, so it can only come in one way, which is kind of this. And it should come in like this.
Let's try in the other way.
Now that won't work. Okay, so now I'll put in my RAM. So first you have to pull these two things which will like unlock it. Then you have to, it's not completely in the centre, it's kind of off, so it can like only go in one way. And then you can put it in and then push it in. There, so it's locked in. Do the same with the other one. And for some reason on this motherboard, it's saying if you have only 2 sticks of RAM, then you have to put it like this, not like one on here. So before putting in the motherboard, you have to put in this IO shield. It's like a cover, and we have to like kind of like flip it in, yeah, like that. Yeah, so it should be like, everything should be clipped in. Yeah, it's all clipped in. So it should like correspond with the ports. Dad! Oh yeah, please. So basically, we have to skip this video because 2 screws fell behind the motherboard. So basically what we did was put the motherboard on here, then we put these screws on. We did it in cross section. So next, the hard drive. Of course, I has decided not to make the screws, so I kind of made these small plastic clips which hold your hard drive instead of screwing. So it should just slide in like that. I also made sure that the hard drive sockets will go to the back, so I can easily connect these wires to there. So firstly, I'll connect this 6-pin connector for the CPU, I think, and we kind of have to push it in. Push it into its socket. Yeah, that's in. And next, the 24-pin ATX wire. So there's one pin knocked out, so it can only go in one way. So now it's time to install the graphic card. The graphic card is basically the thing which makes all the games which turns this PC from an ordinary PC to a gaming PC. It will help to run those games.
Diamonds.
This one has a metal backplate which most don't. And it has a DVI, HDMI and a display port. So we have to flick that back and okay, so after removing the PCIe covers, which I didn't do last time, now you have to room to put in this graphic card. So first, this switchy thing, you need to pull it back. And you have to align it with the PCIe slot. Yep. Yeah, I think let's just go in. After I connected the 24-pin ATX connector and the 8-pin CPU connector, I also connected a USB 3 port and an audio jack and the front panel connectors. I also connected the Asus GPU. It was pretty hard. And when you have a and on this Asus graphic card there is one DVI, one DisplayPort and one HDMI. So as I said earlier, this case comes with one red Corsair fan, but I added one blue case fan extra. So when you got a not modular power supply, it comes with extra cables which you can't remove. So these have to be kept in here, so it's not removable. Okay, so now since we've finished our PC, it's time to put on our side panels. But since I've finished, I'll remove protective glass cover thing. Okay, so now you should, for this case, you should slide it in and then you need to put in these thumb screws which came with the case. One here. And another one here. Okay, so now I should put on the front panel.
Make it erect.
Okay, so you should align it.
Yeah, one hand back. Good.
Oh, shit. Make sure all the clips go in. Okay, so now we're done. So now this is the most important bit, I guess. Does the PC actually work? So I don't actually have a monitor yet, so I used my TV. So I connected the keyboard and mouse to here, and a HDMI connecting to my graphic card. So moment of truth. Yes, it works. Works. I'm guessing that works. Okay, I'll try getting it to the BIOS if that works. I have to keep on pressing delete to get into the BIOS. Yeah, it works. So now I have to install Windows. I got Windows onto this USB, so I just connected to the port back here. Okay, so now I've connected it here. And I'll switch it off and back on. It should recognise the USB. Yeah, now Windows is starting to download. Right, it will take some time to download. Okay, so now we have to set up Windows, I guess. So yeah, all your notifications. Oh. Let's switch it off.